Hello there, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. If you've never been here before, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Everybody else, welcome back. I appreciate you. For those of you that have never been here before, I survived 17 years in the New York prison system. I was in maximum security prisons, serious ones like Attica, Sing Sing, many others. Then I went down to the medium security prison. I spent 17 straight years in prison, so I know the system. Today's video, we are going to talk about unwritten rules inside of the prison system. Some of the rules that are not talked about, but basically a form of common sense. But the thing about common sense is not too common these days. But these are things that would help you survive in the prison system. These are things that can prevent you from getting hurt in the prison system. A lot of people ask the question. They in the comments, they ask me, would I be okay in prison? I've done some videos on that before. But these are things that are important and almost mandatory if you are going to survive in prison. These are the ways that you should conduct yourself. Not just rules, it's the ways that you should conduct yourself in the prison system to make sure that you get out alive. I would like to say that I hope none of you go into the system. That's not what this is about. I'm not trying to prepare you for going into the system, but to give you an idea of just how someone should carry themselves in there. And if you are going in there, it's unfortunate. I hope you decide to live right, but pay attention to these things. So the first thing I'll tell you, there's many things I'm going to go through. The first thing, let's get to it. The first thing I'm going to tell you is when you go into prison, be smart enough not to talk to an officer alone, out of the earshot of other prisoners. You don't want, nobody will know who you are. You'll be a new face in there. You don't want the other prisoners seeing you off in the corner, talking to an officer, whispering to an officer. I'll give you a brief example of this, of how even when I was new in prison, I knew not to do something like that. It's a common sense thing, right? It might not be common sense to everyone, but in other words, you don't want to be seen talking to an officer alone because people will think you're a snitch. People will think you're a rat. If they don't know you, you're a new face. They don't want to see that, right? Even an old timer, you don't want to, but that's different once all the guys know you. If they, so I saw in a depot security walking through the prison yard, and I was new in prison, very new. Within a week, I wasn't in prison a week, and I noticed that the guy had blue jeans on, which was not typical. You're not allowed to wear blue jeans in prison. So I see this big guy walking through the prison yard, Sing Sing, in a pair of blue jeans. I asked my buddy, I says, who's that? They said, that's the depot security. I says, I had a few questions I want to ask this guy about something. So he said, yeah. He says, my buddy said, you can go ask him. That's why he walks through the yard. So I said, come with me. I don't want to go talk to him alone. Come with me. And I brought my friend Jimmy with me, who had 30 years in prison. This way, the other prisoners see two prisoners talking to him. It's much more relaxed, I should say. So don't be seen talking to an officer alone. You don't want to be thought of as a snitch. The second thing in prison, this is an important one. You got to stand up for yourself. You have to stand up for yourself. I just was speaking to a buddy of mine. His friend is up in prison. He's not really a prison type of guy. He committed a crime. He was convicted of a crime. He's got a long time to do, and the other prisoners are putting a little pressure on him. Yo, send me some cigarettes. Yo, do this. Yo, send me that. And the guy, I don't know if he's standing up for himself or not. I really don't know what's going on in there. The guy didn't tell me the whole story. But my point is, if you don't stand up for yourself, people are going to take advantage of you. And you could say, I'm not a fighter. I'm not this. I'm not a tough guy. I don't want to get in any trouble. That's fine. You still have to stand up for yourself. And if you have to get into a fist fight, then you have to get into a fist fight. But you got to stand up for yourself. You got to learn to tell people no when they ask you for something. You don't get rude about it. You don't get nasty about it. Someone says, "Yo, you have a cigarette," and you don't feel like giving it to them. You say, "Listen, I can't do it right now. That's it. I don't have it to give away. Sorry, buddy." You can't start feeding people. You have to stand up for yourself. If you think someone disrespects you, you have to. Every situation is different. But if you feel you should say something, say something. If you don't stand up for yourself in prison, you're going to be asking for problems. People are going to run over you. You have to mind your own business. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. If two guys are in the cell next to you and one of them's getting tattooed, he's tattooing them. What are you guys doing over here? Don't be a jerk off. Mind your business. Don't even peek in there to see what they're doing. Let them do their thing. You do your thing. Not minding your own business get you real hurt in there. I could give 1,000 scenarios. But this video will end up being 10 hours long. Just mind your business. But yeah, and keep information to yourself. If two guys are in the cell next to you and one guy's tattooing the other guy, and you don't go to lunch and then tell someone else, "Oh yeah, the guy's doing the tattoo in the cell next to me." Just keep information to yourself. Because then what about when the guy approaches you and says, "Yo, I heard you running your mouth, telling everyone in the mess hall that I'm doing tattoos. You want me to punch you in your face?" Mind your business. Right? Guy smoking a joint. Whatever it may be. A lot of people don't do that. These Karens out in what they call Karens out in society, you're not going to be a Karen in prison. Dead. You're leaving in a pine box real fast. You don't mind your business. So that's an important one in there. Listen, but keep your ears open. They say that's why God gave you two ears and one mouth. Keep your mouth shut and listen. Listen to everything around you. This is an important one. They call it ear hustling. Listen to the conversation of the person next to you. Right? Listen to everyone around you. When you're in the mess hall eating, I'm listening to everyone. These two guys next to me are talking about he's going down to the visit to see his girl to get drugs. This one is talking about he's hiding a knife over here. These two guys are talking about someone else. I'm listening to everything. Why? Information is good to have. You should know what's going on around you. Know who's involved in what. Always pay attention. I listen to the officers. I listen to the prisoners. Ear hustle. Right? So that's an important one as well. Keep your word. You can't break your word in prison. If you break your word in prison, you're going to be seen as a piece of garbage. Nobody's going to want to deal with you. Nobody's going to want to talk to you. They're going to be like, "This guy's a liar. This guy's full of crap." So always keep your word. You tell someone you'll pick something up from them from commissary. I'm talking about one of your boys. "Yo, when you go to commissary, can you grab me 10 soups and I'll give them back to you when I go?" "Yeah, no problem." And don't go. Don't tell them yes if you're not going to do it. You see, don't tell them yes if you're not. And then when you go to commissary, do it. Keep your word. Small things, big things, it doesn't matter. Right? These are the same rules that should apply in life that I'm giving you. Most of them are the same ones that would work in society. But keep your word in there. Do your time like a man. You can't walk around crying. You can't walk around complaining. I'm talking about not actual tears. Even just don't complain. "I can't do this time. This is crazy. I need to get home." No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear your miserable ass in there, right? People won't have you around. The guys won't have you around. There's nothing wrong with having a conversation like that with one of your buddies that you hang out with, but you can't live your everyday life like that. There's nothing wrong with one day you tell your friend, "Yo, I'm stressed out. This time is really getting to me. He's gonna pat you on the back. He's gonna give you a hug, your boy, and tell you, "Don't worry, you're gonna be all right. We'll get through this. Don't worry about it." But you can't live every day complaining like that. There's guys in there with life without parole. They don't want to hear that nonsense. And the guys that have life without parole, the guys that have 50 years, they ain't running around talking like that either. They're focused on doing their time or focused on an appeal on going home. They got no time for you complaining. No drugs. You got to stay away from the drugs. I always told you in many videos, drugs are the problem. Drugs will get you stabbed up. Drugs will get you cut. Drugs will get you more time. Drugs will get you solitary confinement. Drugs, listen, that's the main reason why most people are in prison are the drugs, right? 90% of them are because they're getting high, and now you want to go into prison and do drugs. I did drugs the first few years I was in prison, and it was nothing but a problem. It was nothing but a problem. So stay away from drugs. You want to get home, you want to get out of there, and the drug game is violent. The drug game is violent. Just like in the street is violent, it's violent in the prison. The guys don't play. You buy some drugs off of someone you don't pay, they're stabbing you, they're cutting you. You stay away from the drugs, man. That's all I gotta say. You gotta have good manners. You got to be polite. You have to say, "I'm sorry" to someone if you bump into them. You have to say, "Excuse me, pardon me." You know, let don't think you have to have this tough guy, macho, ego, you know, sway about you where you bump into someone. Yo, watch out, man. That guy will turn around and stick a piece of steel in your liver. All right, tough guy? You bump into someone, you'll pardon me. Excuse me. Sorry about that, brother. You go, no problem. You step on someone's sneaker online, you have to pardon me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Someone's talking on the phone, you were a little loud. Yo. Oh, pardon me. Excuse me. Otherwise, you'd be getting punched in the face a lot. I bring that one to the street again. People that don't, they walk around society with no manners. In prison, you'll get dealt with for that. You'll get the pardon me. Let me have a sip of my coffee. No gambling. Gambling is going to bring the same problems. No homosexuality. Problems. I mean, these are things that are common sense you need to stay away from. The same, the guys that mess with people who are gay, nobody really wants them around. Nobody keeps them around. The gay guys that are in there, they're like act like fairies. Those type, they bring nothing but drama around. You know, white guys don't allow any of the gay people to hang out in the circle anyway. They don't allow that, so they get shunned out. They get mudded out. And then you have to find yourself a good crew of guys to hang out with. You're not going to stay alone in prison. You're not going into prison and you're going to be alone for 5 years, 10 years and say, "I'm just staying in my cell and stay away from everyone." So you'll find a couple of guys that are focused on positive things, on good things, guys that are focused on education, guys are focused on, working out, guys are focused on eating healthy, guys are focused on taking care of themselves, guys that are focused on going home. You know, uh, you hang out with guys that are doing drugs, guys that are gambling, guys that are messing with fags. You're not gonna last long. You wouldn't last long. So those are not just rules. Most of them are unwritten. That I said to you are unwritten prison rules, but they're a mixture of unwritten prison rules, common sense, and things that will keep you safe, and just the proper way. Don't talk to the officers alone. Stand up for yourself. Uh, Keep your ears open. Keep your word. Do your time like a man. No drugs. Have manners. No gambling. No homosexuality. And last but not least is don't rat. Don't be a snitch. Keep your mouth shut and do your time. And if you do that, you keep your mouth shut and you do your time like a man, you stand up for yourself, and you keep your word, and you're polite and respectful, your time turns not into a breeze, but it sure gets a lot easier. You'll get the respect and the courtesy from everyone around you just because you know how to carry yourself. I'm wrapping this up for now. I hope you guys hit that little subscribe button. Don't cost you nothing. And I'm going to take care of my Dusty. It's my dog who just came home from the animal hospital, is sleeping in bed right next to me right now. And so I'm taking care of my buddy. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you. Have a good one.